Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about vehicles and ordering them versus looking for them on dealers' lots. And since this is about vehicles and ordering them, I figured we'd film it in the TRX today because this is a vehicle that I ordered. And so yeah, with all that being said, let's just get straight into the video. Let's start things off by reading the question for today's video. So the question is by username HatGuyUSM, don't know how to pronounce that, but anyways, if you know exactly what you want in a truck, is it better to hunt around for something close or special order it? Thank you for the question and for the support. And I'm gonna have to make some assumptions with this question. So I'm assuming you saying, is it better to look for something close or special order it? I'm guessing that you're talking about the deal that you'll get on the vehicle. And let's get into that first. Are you gonna get a better deal ordering the car, or are you gonna get a better deal looking for something that is pretty close to what you're wanting? On that side of things, it's going to be pretty similar, especially in today's market. Right now, there's crazy supply and demand issues. And so ordering a car versus buying one on the lot right now, the pricing's really not going to be all that much different. And even when the market wasn't as aggressive as it is today, where it's a seller's market, it was still the case where the difference between a car on the lot versus something you'd order wasn't a massive amount. Typically, sometimes you might be able to save a couple $100 extra bucks if you bought a car on the lot, but usually it wasn't a massive amount. And so I guess from the deal perspective, what I'm trying to say is you might get a little bit of a better deal if the car's already on the lot, but typically not, especially, again, in today's market. Now, moving on from the, again, that assumption that I'm guessing you're asking about if you're gonna get a better deal. Now, hunting around for something close. Now, that part is, I'm gonna have to make the assumption is you're asking, hey, is it worth it conceding some options, or should I get exactly what I want? And this is gonna be completely up to you as a buyer. Do you want to get the exact specification that you're looking for, or are you okay with conceding certain options in the vehicle? And I can't really make that decision for you, but I guess what I will say in my own personal experience is it's typically not worth it. Because one, vehicles are really expensive nowadays, and so you ought to get exactly what you're looking for, right? And two, you don't want to have buyer's remorse, which is what I have had in the past with vehicles that I've bought brand new that weren't special ordered. Both of them were actually Ram trucks, and nothing against the Ram brand, but the first truck that I got that I didn't special order was a Ram Rebel. It was a 2018. I did a lease on that truck, and there were a few things that truck had that I absolutely hated, and if I'd special ordered the truck, I wouldn't have had these issues. So the first thing is the truck had trailer mirrors. I don't tow on a regular basis, or really at all pretty much, especially now that I do YouTube full-time, there's no reason for me to really tow. And so the fact that it had trailer mirrors, and I don't like that aesthetic with trailer mirrors, was a huge downside. And also the truck didn't have a sunroof. I love sunroofs, right? I have one in this truck right now. And so that was another thing, and I was just constantly thinking about that the whole time. And also the color. The truck was granite crystal. I didn't really like the color. And so I spent $40,000 on this truck, and all I could think about every single time I got in the truck was, this is a nice truck, but I wish it had this, this, and that. So yeah, there was a thing with that. And then the next one was another Ram Rebel. I just found the closest one that I could, and again, wrong color, and it didn't have all of the options that I wanted. So it was a 2019 Rebel, so the new body style. It actually did have the right mirrors this time. I had the smaller mirrors, but it was billet silver, and I really wanted a black truck because I knew I was going to wrap this truck, and black is the best color to wrap over. So that was definitely kind of a little bit of a downside for me. And then I think it was the screen, yes. So for the longest time, I was dead set on the 8.4-inch screen, and I was like, I don't like that at all. Now having the TRX, I'm like, wow, I wish I had had the 12-inch screen in that truck, because now I have the 12-inch screen, I absolutely love it, and I don't want the 8.4-inch anymore. It's like, initially it was, it's this big screen and I don't like it, and now I'm like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. But my point is, I think it's worth it to special order the vehicle so you get exactly what you want, so you don't have buyer's remorse. And that's something that I've had in the past with vehicles that I've bought brand new that didn't have the exact options. The first vehicle I special ordered was the 2020 Raptor, and it was an amazing experience for me, right? It took several months to get the truck, but as soon as the truck came in, it was just like, it almost made it more exciting because I had to wait for it, right? I had all this build up thinking about every single day, when's the truck gonna come in, when's the truck gonna come in, versus getting the vehicle right away. So there was definitely that benefit. But also when it came in, it was everything that I wanted, right? It had the right mirrors, it had the right options. I ordered that Raptor with the sunroof and the Recaro seats, and it was black exterior color. The Recaros have the blue interior. It just, everything was perfect. And then also the same thing with this TRX, right? I ordered all of the exact options that I wanted, and I had to wait a little bit longer for the TRX actually. So the TRX I ordered in August of 2020, and then the truck came in February of 2021. And so it was just like all of this excitement building up to getting the truck. And I feel like sometimes the build up to getting the vehicle is more exciting than when you actually get the vehicle, just because of like all the hard work that you have to put in to be able to afford the vehicle. And then on top of that, just the waiting game. I don't know, I definitely think it makes it more exciting. And so I guess the key takeaways from that is order it so you get exactly what you want, especially with how expensive vehicles are nowadays, so you don't have any buyer's remorse. And then there is a little bit of excitement leading to the ordering of the vehicle. But I guess if you want something a little bit sooner, you can look and find something already out there that's built. But I guess the one downside is this will take more work on your part, right? It's super easy to just go to a dealership and say, hey, I want a vehicle with these options, and then they put in the order and then you get your vehicle 4 months from now, versus going and looking at all these different online sources, right? Auto Trader, Auto Tempest, Car Gurus, whatever, all those sources, trying to find a car that has the options, right? Looking through, I mean, potentially hundreds of vehicles and looking through all the different packages and making sure that that vehicle has all the exact options you're looking for. It's a ton of work, and I mean, depending on how much free time you have, it may or may not be worth it. In my opinion, it's usually not worth it unless you just can't order that vehicle anymore for some reason. And so yeah, that's how I would go about it. So to summarize things for today's video, pretty much, in terms of ordering a vehicle, if you order one versus buying one off the lot, ordering it, you might have to pay a little bit more money, but it's typically pretty similar versus buying a vehicle off the lot, especially right now since it is a seller's market. And then aside from that, I would order the vehicle if you are wanting specific options, and I wouldn't concede any options, and that's why you should order, so that you don't have buyer's remorse, especially if you, with these newer vehicles, again, with the pricing, it's ridiculous. Like this TRX, for example, is $95,000, well, the MSRP is like, yeah, almost $95,000. And if I had just went and bought a TRX off of one of the dealer's lots and it had the trailer mirrors, think about how stupid I would feel and just crazy if every single time I got in this truck that I spent 95 grand on, I'm like, oh man, I hate the mirrors. I hate, like, I just don't think that's worth it, especially with just how crazy expensive vehicles are and how much work you have to put in to be able to afford these brand new cars. And so that's a huge thing. And then also, I definitely think there's a lot of benefit in terms of waiting for the vehicle. Just the excitement that leads up to actually getting the vehicle is definitely a really fun experience overall. And so yeah, I guess that if I were to make a decision, I would go with ordering. And if you guys are wondering, right now ordering actually is pretty good because car manufacturers aren't really building vehicles for dealer lots right now. A lot of car makers, because of the supply issues, are only taking orders from customers. And so a lot of dealerships right now, it's pretty much just like, oh, you want this vehicle? You got to put an order in for it, and then the vehicles come super fast. I've had some people tell me that they put an order in for a vehicle and it was literally at the dealership within like a month or a month and a half, which is just absolutely crazy to hear about. And so especially right now, ordering is kind of the way to go. But as always, if you're stopping for the first time, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. If you feel like my videos are of value to you and you'd like to support the channel in an extra way, I will include a link to my Patreon in the description below. I'll see all of you guys in the next video.